the last lecture I am unable to show you this figure, but at this time I have specifically kept this first slide in addition to usual my lecture, that you should know that one pro-normoblast will give rise to 16 red blood cells in the bone marrow. So naturally, this pro-normoblast has to divide multiple times. For division, there must be enough quantities of DNA material to be present so that it can divide. Now, see this specifically. Early pro-normoblast and pro-normoblast. Let's keep this both the figures at a one place. This is a pro-normoblast having basophilic cytoplasm. Dark blue. From there it turns to a basophilic cytoplasm. Bluish, light bluish cytoplasm, that is basophilic normoblast. Later on, the third is polychromatic normoblast. Why it is called polychromatic? Because the basophilic blue cytoplasm is now invaded by a hemoglobin formation, and hemoglobin color is hemoglobin color on peripheral smear. जो रेड सेल का कलर है वो हेमोग्लोबिन का है, पिंक. So polychromatic because basophilic plus pink incorporation is that. That's why it's called a polychromatic normoblast. Now the nuclear size will shrink because ultimately a red cell is devoid of nucleus. So gradually the nuclear size will shrink, marginated nucleus, and at last it's out of the red cell. That is a stage of reticulocyte. And after one day that reticulocyte count will considered as a red cell. So one pro-normoblast will give rise to 16 reticulocyte, and for their divisions and maturation we require large amount of DNA. This figure you have to keep in your mind because it will help you to understand the morphological changes of B12 deficiency. Okay? Again, this is also the same, but the difference is just it will emphasize you the cell size. Cell size is decreasing. In the previous, you can see that cell size is decreasing from early normoblast to reticulocyte. Mitochondria and RNA content 2+, and hemoglobin level is increased gradually, naturally, because ultimately a red cell formation needs a hemoglobin concentration within the red cells. So hemoglobin content will increase. This is the same what I have explained to you. Now there are two principal types of megaloblastic anemia. One is vitamin B12 deficiency and second is folate deficiency anemia. We will discuss very less about folate deficiency because that is not in our SOL, but specific learning objective SLO. But we will discuss folate deficiency anemia also. Megaloblastic anemia constitutes a diverse group of entities having in common an impaired DNA synthesis and distinctive morphological changes in the blood and bone marrow. As the name implies, erythroid precursors and red cells are abnormally large due to defective cell maturation and division. Maturation of nucleus is delayed related to the cytoplasm, and the underlying defect for asynchronous maturations of nucleus is defective DNA synthesis due to vitamin B12 or folic acid deficiency and impairment in their utilization. Vitamin B12 and folic acids are coenzyme required for synthesis of the thymidine. You know that basis thymidine, T is one of the bases of DNA cycles. So thymidine, one of the 4 bases found in the DNA. So in absence of B12 or folic acid, the thymidine is less. That lead to impaired DNA synthesis. That lead to all morphological changes in all the cells which are differentiating into 1 to 2 divisions. But because erythroid precursors and bone marrow, other lymphopoietic cells have a very short lifespan. So the effect in the body is first seen in these cells. Instantly there will be an anemia if vitamin B12 is not there. And gradually that anemia have different types of morphological changes that we will see. But before going ahead, one important thing, difference between iron deficiency anemia and megaloblastic anemia. Remember, both are impaired production anemia because the raw material is not there simply. Here the DNA content is not there, in that place iron is not there. But the basic difference is both are impaired production, but in iron deficiency anemia there will be loss at the level of cytoplasm. Hemoglobin is not formed. So the cytoplasm is at compromise. Cytoplasm is compromised in case of iron deficiency. Compared to vitamin B12 deficiency, there is a DNA part, that is a nuclear part, is at compromise. So what happens? The red cell count will be very low because DNA content is not there, so divisions will not. One proerythroblast we cannot generate a 16 reticulocyte. So cytoplasmic maturation will remain same. Suppose any of the pro-normoblast reach up to the level of orthochromatic normoblast, its cytoplasm in case of B12 will remain same. However, the nuclear abnormality will be there. If the abnormality is more, it will be washed out within the bone marrow by a process called dyserythropoiesis. तो ना कंपनी में से पहले ही डिफेक्टेड पीसेस को वहीं से रिमूव कर दिया जाए. That is called dyserythropoiesis. Same. If nuclear abnormality is large enough that we cannot produce a reticulocyte, so that cell is automatically got destructed within the bone marrow. That process is called as a dyserythropoiesis. That is because of DNA content abnormality. And iron deficiency is cytoplasmic hemoglobin production related. So in this case, there is ample amount of hemoglobin present in the cytoplasm. If patient is suffering from pure vitamin B12 deficiency, then suppose it is a combined iron and megaloblastic, then it may be have both those. But suppose at present we are learning about a pure vitamin B12 deficiency, then cytoplasmic component will remain same, maturation will remain same, there will be enough quantities of hemoglobin. Only DNA, it has nuclear compartment is compromised. Let's see the pathogenesis. Deficiency of these vitamins or impairment in their metabolism result in defective nuclear maturation due to delayed or inadequate DNA synthesis with an attendant delay or block in cell division. Now you can understand these sentences. The synthesis of RNA and protein is relatively unaffected. Remember, cytoplasm portion. The synthesis of RNA and protein is relatively unaffected. However, so cytoplasmic maturation proceeds in advance of nuclear maturation. Cytoplasmic maturation will proceed in advance of nuclear maturation. Why? Because there is no problem at the cytoplasmic level. So, cytoplasmic maturation proceeds in advance of nuclear maturation, a situation described as a nuclear cytoplasmic asynchrony. Okay. So now we will tell what happens in nuclear cytoplasmic. So this is a nuclear cytoplasmic synchrony. That gradually you can see the nuclear size is shrink. However, cytoplasmic portion is enough to generate a 7.4 mm size of red cell at the end. What happens in case of asynchrony? Because the nuclear portion doesn't reach at the level of orthochromatic normoblast. Nuclear portion, DNA content doesn't reach at the level of orthochromatic normoblast. So what happens? The production of hemoglobin is going on. So the cytoplasm is enlarged. So at the end, what will happen? There will be a large cytoplasmic material, and that will generate at last large red cell, and that's the reason why it is a megaloblastic. Size of red blood cells is large. That is because of this nuclear cytoplasmic asynchrony. Is it clear now? Nuclear cytoplasmic asynchrony is the main etiology why the red cell is enlarged. Okay? Characterized by formations of, that will lead to formations of megaloblast, morphologically and functionally abnormal red cell precursors, and as a result mature RBC formed from are also abnormal macrocytosis and anisofolliculocytosis. Okay. Normal vitamin B12 metabolism is B12 is a complex organometallic compound known as a cobalamin. Two metabolically active forms, methylcobalamin and adenosylcobalamin, are present. Therapeutic vitamin B12 preparation is called as a cyanocobalamin. Source: in normal circumstances, humans are totally dependent on dietary animal products, kidney, liver, heart, fish, meat, eggs, cheese, and milk for their vitamin B12 requirement. In microorganisms are the ultimate origin of cobalamin in the food chain. So raw plants and vegetables contain little cobalamin, save that contributed by microbial contamination. Strictly vegetarians are likely to develop vitamin B12 deficiency. Okay, so the reason why vitamin B12 deficiencies are nowadays more common, the reason is we have left the eating raw vegetables, we have left the habits of eating raw vegetables and raw fruits and everything. And second thing, we are using aqua, so there will be no any amount of microbial contamination within it, which was the source of B12. So because of all these things, nowadays vitamin B12 deficiencies are more common in vegetarian, because the person who is on non-vegetarian diet have source from his non-vegetarian diet. Okay, so this is common in vegetarians, pure vegetarians. The daily requirement is nothing but a 2 to 3 milligram. A balanced diet contains significantly larger amounts and normally results in accumulation of B12 in sufficient quantities to last for several years. Vitamin B12 is absorption. How B12 is present in the food is released and form as a stable complex, gastric R-binding. Let me show you a figure that's enough. This is a common figure present in your book also, but the large green dots, targeted large green dots are the vitamin B12, which when enters into the stomach, usually will bind with the R-binding protein. And R-binding protein will drag this vitamin B12 molecule from the stomach to the duodenum. In the duodenum, this R-binding protein will leave the vitamin B12 and intrinsic factor will bind to that position of vitamin B12. So now there is a complex of, in the stomach to duodenum, there is a complex of vitamin B12 and R-binding protein. From duodenum onwards, there will be a vitamin B12 and intrinsic factor. However, this figure clearly shows you that intrinsic factor, however, is generated at the level of stomach, but the bind at the level of end of duodenum. Okay, that you can see clearly in the picture. So this combination of intrinsic factors and vitamin B12 complex, this will travel through whole of the intestine, and absorption of vitamin B12 happens at the level of terminal ileum. Is it clear? So the absorption of vitamin B12 at the level of distalmost ileum portion. So this is about how the absorption takes place. Parietal cells, gastric mucosal parietal cells will produce this intrinsic factors and R-binding protein. What are the causes of B12 deficiency? This is about the pathogenesis I have told you. Now we will see What is the etiology? Decreased intake, that is inadequate diet, vegetarianism is also one of the factor. Impaired absorption in case of intrinsic factor deficiency. Suppose gastrectomy patient has undergone a gastrectomy or EL resection, both may lead to this kind of thing. Pernicious anemia. What is pernicious anemia? Nothing but it is one of the disease in which absence of intrinsic factor is there or deficiency of intrinsic factor is there. So these clinical features, remember, the clinical features are same as megaloblastic anemia, but etiology is different. Here the intrinsic factor is at fault in case of pernicious anemia. Gastrectomy, naturally, by doing gastrectomy, we are removing the productions of R-binding protein, that intrinsic factors that leads to deficiency of vitamin B12. Other malabsorption states, ileal resection or ileitis, competitive parasitic uptake, fish tapeworm infestations, and increase the requirements specifically in the pregnancy, hyperthyroidism and disseminated cancer. Once again, a best example, pregnancy, disseminated cancer, all increase the requirement. Why? There is more number of nucleus to be formed. In case of disseminated cancer, what will happen? A large amount of DNA content needed for that malignant cells, and the whole the fetus is developed into pregnancy, so the more large amount of DNA is needed. So these are increased requirement cases. These are the increased requirement cases, that is pregnancy and disseminated cancers. Short about folate deficiency, it's a green leaf vegetables, broccoli and spinach is a very good source. Fruit, bananas and melons, and animal protein, minimum daily requirement 100 to 200 microgram. But remember, cooking for 15 minutes will destroy the folate. Dietary folate present as a polyglutamate converted to monoglutamate in upper small bowel and actively transported into the plasma. Plasma folate loosely bound to the plasma proteins. Total body stores of folate is small, 5 mg. Deficiency can develop in the weeks. I am not going into detail of that. Coenzyme for vitamin B12 is a coenzyme for two important processes. One is the synthesis of methionine that requires methylcobalamin and conversion of methylmalonic acid to succinic acid. Methionine synthesis. Now, as the pathogenesis of anemia, what is the pathogenesis? That is unbalanced cell growth. There is a retarded DNA synthesis. I have already told you, DNA synthesis is compromised. So the retarded DNA synthesis, while RNA synthesis is normal, nuclear cytoplasmic asynchrony resulting in impaired cell divisions of erythroid precursor, and that all leading to anemia. Remember, आप अभी पूछोगे कि एनीमिया क्यों हो रहा है? साइटोप्लाज्मिक कंपार्टमेंट तो ठीक था, यस, साइटोप्लाज्मिक कंपार्टमेंट इज ओके, so hemoglobin production is within the cells is normal. Then why the anemia? But remember, because of DNA synthesis impairment, there is a large number of pro-normoblasts will enter into process of deserythropoiesis. So suppose 30% enters into a process of deserythropoiesis, so the production is not going. Number two, a cell formed is also defective. Anisopoikilocytosis. Shape is also an abnormal because of large content. So they cannot pass through properly into the reticuloendothelial system. So extra corpuscular destruction is also there. So the cells which are formed, although they are containing enough hemoglobin, less cell is formed, and out of that few cells are destructed by a reticuloendothelial system. This is the reason why megaloblastic anemia, bone marrow nature, is having high reticulocyte count. However, it is an impaired DNA synthesis. Impaired red cell production में आता है ना ये category. B12 deficiency comes under a category of impaired B12, impaired red cell production. तो भी directly जब reticulocyte count किया जाता है, तो reticulocyte count will come higher. Why? Because very few cells are formed. So when we do corrected reticulocyte count as per the PCV, normal PCV होना चाहिए तो उसमें कितना होना चाहिए? Reticulocyte count, there are two different, एक direct reticulocyte count, that is called 100 red cells को देख लिया आपने, उसमें से देखा कि there are 3 reticulocyte count is there out of 100, so that is a direct reticulocyte count 3%. That direct count will match with the absolute reticulocyte count, corrected reticulocyte count when the PCV is normal. Suppose PCV is 45, then this count and actual absolute corrected reticulocyte count will remain nearly same. But when the PCV is very less, red cell is very less, red cell count is less, so it should be corrected with the correction. Why it needs correction? Because red cell volume, RBC count in most of the megaloblastic anemia is about 2 million, 2.5 million, like that, rather than 4 million. So what happens? Peripheral, last time बताया था, sensor will tell the bone marrow supply more and more red cells. So what will happen? The reticulocyte count or reticulocyte present in the bone marrow will come out of the bone marrow and enter into the system. So there is a false reticulocyte count, that is 3, 4, 5, even if you 10% reticulocyte count can be there. But when you correct it with the PCV, PET cell volume, then it will be a less than 2.5. That is a impaired production anemia. Okay, so the corrected reticulocyte count with the PCV is a correct less than 2.5 in case of impaired production and more than 2.5 in case of hemolytic or excessive destruction anemia. Okay, that is also a very important thing. Reticulocyte count and corrected reticulocyte. Why? I have already told you. Because there is a signal, because low volume of red cell is there, so premature reticulocyte will enter into the system. Okay. So that is unbalanced cell growth. Second is an ineffective erythropoiesis. I have already told you that intramedullary death of 20 to 30% will die within the bone marrow. So bone marrow aspiration से तुम्हें पता चलेगा आपको cellularity is very high, but the production is not. Defective maturation, defective generation is there. Increased hemolysis of the red cells. जो generate होके बाहर निकल गए हैं, उनका भी hemolysis हो रहा है. Why? Because they are deformed in shapes and like that. So increased hemolysis of the red cells. What will be the clinical feature because of beta dialysis? One important anemia, insidious and progressive, glossitis and angular cheilosis, smooth red, leafy red tongue is a typical presentation, and the most important is CNS manifestation, that is features of severe vitamin B12 deficiency, patient present with unsteady gait and altered sensorium, posterolateral column of the spinal cord is affected. So unsteady gait and altered sensorium, these are due to subacute combined demyelination of posterolateral column of the spinal cord. So CNS manifestation, tingling, numbness and unsteady gait and altered sensorium. Patient will tell in addition to routine clinical features of anemia, that is tiredness, unable to concentrate on work. These all are the clinical features of any anemia. If you have an anemia, you cannot concentrate properly. You have a tiredness, fatigue. That all are the common features. In addition to that, if you have a CNS or neural symptoms, then we should focus. Yes, vitamin B12 might be there, go for morphological test. Is it clear? So in these clinical features will help you to tell type of anemia. The other is a peripheral neuropathy, that is tingling, numbness, weakness, poor finger coordination and diminished reflexes. In these clinical features, CNS manifestation. However, nowadays vitamin B12 vitamin B12 testing is fair enough and easily approachable. Years back, in 1980s and 1970s, where vitamin B12 testing was not so easy to do. At that time, posterolateral column of spinal cord is tested by one specific test by a physicians, and that test was ask the patient to lie down, close his eyes. 40 to 50-year male presented to you with an anemia in your OPD with tingling, numbness. You want to check whether it is a B12 deficiency or not. Let me check the posterolateral column is affected or not. Ask the patient to sleep, close his eyes. Then, suppose this is a toe of a left leg or right leg of a patient. Leg, right and left leg toe. If you tilt it forward and backward, any movement, and if you ask 5 times, you have to move the toe, great toe, and later on you have to ask, tell me at which position this toe is. Patients of vitamin B12 cannot tell you because the posterolateral column is affected. So sensory loss will lead to postural orientation will not be there. So in addition to tingling, numbness, they have this kind of abnormality, and at 1980s they are using this test. If you are going to ward and you have a vitamin B12 deficiency, you can check this test. If not treated, suppose the treatment is given vitamin B12, then this test will not be possible. But what happens initially, there is a किसी को भी एनीमिया है तो सब आयरन देने का, तो आयरन देते थे. Real vitamin B12 deficient patient will not improve with the iron, so they have to check this test to rule out vitamin B12 deficiency, especially in the young adults. So this is a CNS manifestation test, altered sensorium and unsteady gait, peripheral neuropathy. What are the lab findings? Hemoglobin values below the normal range, red cell indices, MCV increased to more than 120. This is the very crucial investigation in case of vitamin B12. MCV more than 120, unless proved otherwise, it is more likely that this patient is having vitamin B12. Other macrocytic anemia have MCV enlarged or increase MCV, but not up to that extent that it is more than 120. More than 120, it's more likely that the patient is having vitamin B12 deficiency. And other macrocytic anemia will have a MCV increased. The normal range is 78 to 98. In case of other macrocytic anemia, the MCV value will be between the 98 to 120, but more than 120, it is mostly vitamin B12. So MCV is an important investigation. MCH will increase because the cells are thicker than the normal, and MCHC is normal or reduced. RBC morphology, there is a marked anisopoikilocytosis. Reason I have already told you, the cytoplasmic production is over apart from nucleus. Macrocytes and oval macrocytes will be formed. Normochromic, evidence of dyserythropoiesis in the form of basophilic stippling, Cabot ring, and Howell-Jolly bodies. I will show you the figures also of these three: basophilic stippling, Cabot, Howell-Jolly body, and Cabot ring. Reticulocyte count is low or normal. Corrected reticulocyte. This is reticulocyte count is corrected reticulocyte count is low or normal. Leukocytes may be reduced, and presence of hypersegmented neutrophil more than 6 log is present. Remember, the DNA synthesis is at fault, so it will affect the myelocyte maturation also. So WBC count is also reduced. Along with the red cell production, WBC production is also less. Same way platelet production is also less. So it is actually a pancytopenia in case of vitamin B12 because DNA is affecting all the lineage. Okay, DNA जब आयरन था तो वो साइटोप्लाज्म में था, तो साइटोप्लाज्म में तो एरिथ्रोब्लास्ट को ही अफेक्ट करेगा. So they are only defect in the red cell series. However, here is the etiology is DNA synthesis. तो DNA synthesis तो सब में होगा, एरिथ्रोइड में भी होगा, माइलॉइड में भी होगा, मेगामेगापोइसिस में भी होगा. तो all lineage will be decreased. The count of all cell lineage, RBC, WBC and platelets, all counts will be reduced. So pancytopenia is usual manifestation of morphological CBC. Report will be a pancytopenia. Platelets moderately reduced. You can see the anisopoikilocytosis. Some cells are normal in size, some are very much enlarged, some having a macroveilocyte appearance. Okay. So some are the tear at 3 o'clock. There is a teardrop cells like features is also there. Here you can see this is a late normoblast or orthochromatic normoblast. But you can see that this normoblast should have a compact chromatin. Compared to that, it is not compact. It is sieve-like open chromatin. That is because of DNA related abnormality. Here is also you can see the macroveilocytes and all. In all these cells, a typical presentation differs from the iron deficiency anemia. Again, not only a central bundled pallor. You can see the pallor? No. There is no pallor, but cell is filled with the hemoglobin. Okay. So these are macroveilocytes. This is a figure of basophilic stapling. This is a RNA material that is cabot ring, and this is Howell-Jolly bodies. Because of these erythropoiesis, these three features you will see. This Howell-Jolly body is nothing but a fragmented nucleus, and large portion of nucleus is removed out of the red cell, and the remnant of nucleus is called as the Howell-Jolly bodies, which is remained within the red cell. Okay, and this all happens because of this erythropoiesis, and that's the reason it is present in megaloblastic anemia. Bone marrow feature cellularity will be high, Ab ratio will be decreased, erythropoiesis will be megaloblastic. These are larger than the normoblast and have open sieve-like nuclear chromatin. ये typical presentation, typical morphological appearance रहेगा B12 का normoblast का nucleus में, that is open sieve-like nuclear chromatin. Why it is not clumped? Because DNA content is less. Nucleus are less mature than the cytoplasm. Abnormal mitosis will be seen. Leukopoiesis, giant metamyelocytes and band form will be present, and megakaryocytes will show a hyper segmented nucleus. Here again, in the last lecture also I have told you, bone marrow picture, just keep your eyes little bit small, and the darker cytoplasm cells are the erythroid progenitor, and the lighter one cytoplasm are the myeloid precursors or WBC precursors. Here, a erythroid progenitor or a erythroid precursor will show a large cytoplasm, large nuclear size. Okay, so what will happen? It is a megaloblast, presence of megaloblast within the bone marrow, and here you can see there is a little bit of sieve-like chromatin is there in the next picture. Here is also on the vela block position there is a one late normoblast. You can see the sieve-like chromatin picture of that normoblast, and these are the giant megaloblasts, which is not this much large in normal cases. So giant megaloblast is present. Here giant metamyelocyte at the center you can see, and in 5 o'clock position giant megaloblast is seen. Here giant metamyelocyte at the center with the arrow. At 7 o'clock center and 7 o'clock there will be a myelocyte. Open sieve-like nuclear chromatin you can see because of DNA synthesis problem. Biochemical change is nothing but the serum bilirubin is increased due to effective erythropoiesis. LDH is Just say ferritin is an iron deficiency anemia specific test. In case of megaloblastic, you can check the serum B12 level, normally 200 to 900 picogram, which will decrease in case of B12 deficiency. Skilling test is used to detect B12 deficiency and distinguish it with the intrinsic factor abnormality. Serum and urine methylmalonic acids will be increased. Test for folic acid is nothing but the serum folate levels. However, treatment is more easy in case of folic acid deficiency. So we will switch over directly to the treatment protocol in case of we are suspecting folic acid deficiency. I need not to go detail about pernicious anemia, but definition, that is chronic disease due to deficiency of intrinsic factor leading to impaired absorption of B12 and eventually megaloblastic anemia. Rest all clinical feature, morphological, bone marrow feature, all will remain same, but the etiology is intrinsic factor abnormality. Skilling test is used to detect this. Clinical features all will be same. Now, what are the non-megaloblastic causes in which MCV is increased, means mean corpuscular volume, cell size is increased in that anemia, but they are not megaloblastic. They are called non-megaloblastic causes of macrocytic anemia. First is alcoholism, second is accelerated erythropoiesis. Why accelerated erythropoiesis have a larger cell size? Because accelerated erythropoiesis will give rise to more reticulocyte count within the bloodstream. Peripheral blood will have a large number of reticulocyte count. So large number of reticulocyte count size is more compared to the normal red cell. Okay, that is the reason why accelerated erythropoiesis in hemolytic anemia and post-hemorrhagic anemia will give rise to increased MCV. Obstructive jaundice and hepatic disease and post-splenectomy will give rise to red cell membrane surface area. Increase the red cell membrane surface area in obstructive jaundice, hepatic disease and post-splenectomy. For this, how we can separate this from a vitamin B12 deficiency? By doing the liver function test. We can check for the alcoholism or this disorder. Check for the liver function test, and if liver function tests are normal, go for vitamin B12. That by this way we can separate this from the others. Bone marrow disorders like hypothyroidism and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease may also lead to non-megaloblastic of macrocytic anemia. In short, patients of megaloblastic anemia will present to you, commonest presentation is young middle-aged adult male presented in OPD with the features of anemia as well as tingling, numbness and gait-related problems. Hemoglobin, morphological PSCM, that is peripheral smear finding, will show you a macrocytic appearance. Macrophoverocytes are specific for the megaloblastic anemia. In case of CBC, when you look for the CBC, RBC count is low, WBC count is low, platelet is low. So whole the pancytopenia is the commonest presentation. Later on morphology, macrophoverocytes is present, hypersegmented neutrophil is present. You will advise that yes, check the CBC. CBC is also having more than 120 MCV. Go for the vitamin B12 estimation. Your vitamin B12 level is reduced and it is a case of megaloblastic. Okay, this is the way how we should tackle the patients of vitamin B12 deficiency anemia. Here, one important differential diagnosis, specifically in young adult. Suppose any young adult came to you with a pancytopenia and having MCV between 100 to 120 and RBC count is low, platelet count is low, WBC count is low, you are thinking that DNA is at fault, I think. But the other differential diagnosis is aplastic anemia. So nothing large enough, but it is a reduced hemoglobin concentration and increased total circulating red cell. and it is characterized by pancytopenia with hypocellular marrow. Hematopoietic tissue is replaced by fat cell. Here, the whole hematopoietic tissue is out. Of aplastic anemia, how will you differentiate clinically between the patients of B12 and this? No lymphadenopathy, no hepatosplenomegaly, and young adult is a common presentation in case of aplastic anemia. However, both are having the pancytopenia. In case of aplastic anemia, young adult is there and having pancytopenia. All the three lineages are decreased. No hepatosplenomegaly or lymphadenopathy. However, in case of B12 deficiency, there is a little bit hepatomegaly or little bit splenomegaly is there in case of vitamin B12. Here, it is not. And a final diagnosis is done by bone marrow aspiration, and bone marrow aspiration will show absence of hematopoietic cells. Only fat cell is present in the bone marrow, and that is the case in case of aplastic anemia. Aplastic anemia, hematopoietic cells are replaced by the fat cells. So the diagnosis is made by bone marrow only. But remember, once again I am telling you, no hepatosplenomegaly in case of aplastic anemia. Hepatosplenomegaly rules out the diagnosis of aplastic. Because aplastic anemia is a last, बोन मेरो कब करोगे जब सब रूटीन खत्म हो जाएगा तब करोगे ना. तो दैट फॉर दैट यू शुड नो कि जब अगर पेशेंट को हिपेटोस्प्लेनोमेगाली या लिम्फेडेनोपैथी है, फॉरगेट अबाउट aplastic anemia, you have to find the other causes. Is it clear? So remember, pancytopenia, two diagnoses, megaloblastic and aplastic. How we have to separate? I have told you the whole changes. Laboratory diagnosis and this. Okay? In next lecture, we will learn about hemolytic anemia, that is sickle cell anemia. Any question related to B12 deficiency or folic acid deficiency?